Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, Juggernaut, issue number 3. This was an otherwise really solid story. There was some weakness in here. There was a hiccup or two, but not enough that it's shaking my confidence that this is going to end. You know, my main rule for a comic book, you got an arc or a limited series or whatever, when that arc or whatever ends, it damn well better go out on a high point. Otherwise, I don't care how good the first 4 issues were, if that last issue sucks. So, it's a little bit of shaking to my confidence in how good the story is, but we're going to get into that and a whole bunch more as far as this thing's concerned. And we open with this amazing page. Let's get talking about who made this comic book. We'll break into more of that. This is the Juggernaut and Stuck in the Past. Fabian does the writing. Ron Garney does the art. Matt Mila does the colors. VC's Joe Sabino on letters. And Juggernaut was created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. I say it again, if I messed up on somebody's name, I apologize. It was not with intent. It was not with intent. Go and look at all the other video reviews out there. Who even bothers to say these people's names? Even the written reviews. How many people actually bother in these reviews to actually even so much as copy paste somebody's freaking name and give credit where credit's due, right? But apparently I butcher somebody's name. Oh my God, ultimate sin. So we're going to start off with probably my least favorite Juggernaut story ever. We've got, you remember that? Everybody remembers this. The 2-issue arc where Spider-Man fought against the Juggernaut for the first time, and it was amazing. Here's my rule. It's got to stick the ending. We did not stick the ending. He was dropped in quick dry cement and he was incapacitated forever. The irresistible force was somehow stopped by quick dry cement for a really long time. Like, here's this guy that goes toe-to-toe with the Hulk, and he was stopped by quick dry cement. Like, is that his kryptonite? Is that what it is? He comes up and he's like, I'm Juggernaut, and I pull out a little piece of, like, the sidewalk and just, throw it at him, and, my one weakness. It's like a scene out of freaking Scott Pilgrim. The court scene was, you know how sometimes they do those, and I got to do more of these things. The comic book courtroom where I get real lawyers to check out the goings on of comic book characters and see, like, actually put their storyline or their characters themselves in judgment. I love doing stuff like that. That being said, all the lawyers that I know, all the law that I myself practice, that I'm studying and about to get into practice, this is funny. I don't know why all this stuff was brought up, and this was this was a minor hiccup that unfortunately took way too much time out of my enjoyment for the comic book. The First Amendment was written for everybody, all right? The first article of the Constitution that serves as an amendment, that the first article of the Bill of Rights, case in point, freedom of the press, right? Freedom of religion is for everybody. Freedom of speech is for everybody. And freedom of the press is not just for the press. It's for everybody. Like, they weren't handing out press passes, laminated or otherwise, back during the time when Poor Richard's Almanac was being put out. So, I mean, that was a really dumb statement here. Look, people can say dumb statements, but when you put it in media, when you put it in like a comic book, like in this case, or in a TV series or in a movie or whatever, in a novel for all I care, when you put it in something, it's got to mean something. And this was just a completely superfluous word or not word thing that they just threw in here, which is like, what is the point of this? Freedom of the press belongs to all of us, not just paid reporters or unpaid reporters. Hell, it's one of the reasons why I can do this and Marvel can't just send me a cease and desist. You know what I'm saying? I mean, unless I'm actually spoiling the comic book, but apparently there are people on YouTube who just literally post every single page of the comic book. They don't even talk. They just put some music in the background and boom, here's the whole spoiler comic book. I hate spoiling comic books. I hate the idea of that. And if I do spoil it, I tell you I'm about to spoil it and when I'm about to spoil it. And oftentimes even put it in the freaking title. Spoilers! And these guys just do, and Marvel, DC don't do anything about it. So whatever, so now I guess freedom of the press as far as comic books is, you can't rein that in anytime soon. It's not going to happen. But that being said, You still can't be sitting here recording in the middle of the courtroom. The judge can allow it, but you can't be talking into your vlog and you. So basically, this is what's happening in blah 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 blah. I mean, it wasn't even shown like it was in whispers in this. It's like, dude, what is going? This would never happen. This would never happen. Whatever. Later on, Quicksand winds up showing up, and I liked the way that she was. This is where I actually have most of my problems in the comic book. I like that she showed up. He says that didn't say, she starts talking like German. Deliver the Fräulein to me, and no one will get hurt. That didn't sound like yet to me. Plus, Fräulein. Fräulein means old woman. So I mean, like, when I was in Hamburg in the military, dude. This no, Fräulein. I guess because Kurt Wagner, the incredible Nightcrawler, he says Fräulein to Kitty Pryde. I guess maybe we thought that that actually means the young girl, the pretty young girl, or something like that. It means old woman. He said that I always took it at headcanon as Kurt saying it to Kitty Pryde, meaning you mature woman, even though she's obviously a kid. This one, no, I don't think that this person would say Fräulein to her. Anyway, Kane goes and says that didn't sound like the way Niet talks. I think it's Niet, Nguyet. I don't remember Quicksand ever having a name. I don't remember it. I own the first issue and a couple other of her appearances. She mostly appeared with Spider-Man, but her first appearance was in Thor, like around the 400s. And yeah, I don't remember her having a name. I did a really quick check, like the page that I usually go to check these things. I didn't see any name listed. So that means that to my, my quick analysis is that Fabian decided to give her a name, at least a first name in this. Dude, I'm down with that. I'm down with that. Flesh out characters more, even if they don't have flesh and they're just made of sand. I'm saying I'm down with that. And this is a ridiculously strong character. So I'm sure there's going to be some people saying, oh, there's no way that he's going to go flying and blah, 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 blah. No, no, no. She's a ridiculously strong character who could go toe-to-toe with Thor. Saying, great, it's the Eric Masterson Thor. But all that being said, she can go toe-to-toe with Thor. So she's tough as nails, man. What do we have here? The way that she's defeated, I don't like this. I usually don't like a lot of what Damage Control, anytime they introduce Damage Control, there's always an element of humor. While I enjoy humor, I mean, there's a limit to it from my standard, from my point of view, the way that I like to look at these stories. So yeah, the little bit of humor that they put in there with it, I guess I should have expected it when I saw Damage Control on pretty much the first page of the first issue. But here, it goes beyond humor. It kind of goes into Deus Ex Machina, like God. I know it's basically God disguised as science, figuring out how to beat Quicksand. I didn't like it at all. I do like what's behind Quicksand. That piques my curiosity like you wouldn't believe. But my favorite thing about this comic book is actually the thing that I'm most afraid of. I'm afraid of when a damn good story is about to go to waste. See, the backdrop of everything here in this series is Kane getting his new armor. Now, I thought that they implied that Damage Control gave him a new set of armor. So I don't understand the backstory, what's going on here of Kane actually going out, and maybe I just misread that. I'm not perfect, you know what I'm saying? I butcher names all the time. You know what I'm saying? What do you call it? There's an old Chris Rock joke with that. What does he say? You could bang a girl with a diamond dick and she'd still find a way to complain about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, why you do it so hard? This diamond's foggy. Like, come on. Well, most comic book people don't even, or most comic book people, while most YouTube comic book reviewers spoil stuff all the time, or even just freaking have the scrolled comic book in its entirety with some music playing in the background, playing throughout the thing. I actually review a comic book and I get into the freaking thing and I give credit to the writers and the authors. I may butcher a name once in a while, but at least I make an attempt. Jeez. A lot of times the written reviews out there, it's hard to even find a bunch of written reviews that bother to even copy paste somebody's name, which is why it's just so weird. Of all people to attack or to complain about or to be annoyed about. Anyway, the thing that I want most from this comic book is from this issue. Kane's, I'm going to get real serious right now. Kane traveling as much as he's traveled, having that Doctor Strange kind of journey from the MCU, the first Doctor Strange movie, him going to find the Ancient One and whatnot. It is the actual story of Doctor Strange. There's some differences and whatnot from the comic book and the many different comic book origins, including the original comic book origin, which was, for the most part, Ditko. Lee admits he didn't have too much to do with that. It was pretty much all Ditko. Having him go and find this old man who's been gathering materials and mystical components and artifacts from all over the world and figuring out how to break them, to use them, and using old school forging techniques to bring about the crimson bands of Sidorak into the prime material plane and hold them here, not just with a spell, but like a permanent, they're here now. This reminded me more of, it's got to be my favorite story ever, the Stern and Mignola Marvel graphic novel issue number 49, Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom Triumph and Torment. Just the best story. Like, I cry reading that because it's just such a damn beautiful book. You know what I'm saying? Like, not just the looks, not just Mignola's art, but how amazing the story is. How the arc just plays in the betrayal and it's actually not. And no, but it is. Oh my God. It's such a beautifully woven story. And for the love of God, now that they've got the Doctor Doom character, I need to see this book become a movie. Nothing that Marvel has ever done deserves it more than this. This would just be I'm going to take a week off when that comes out because I'm not going to be able to stop crying because it is just the most beautiful freaking story. That being said, that is what this journey actually reminds me of the most. This old man kind of reminds me of the aged Genghis. This old man, I want to know more about him. I don't want to just be some throwaway character who, he missed hitting Kane Marco and wound up hitting the G-spot on this wall, saying that knocked down the entire freaking castle and whatnot, the Forge of Sidorak or something like. I don't want to see this guy just disappear and fade into nothingness. I actually want to see this explored more. I want to see more about this character. To me, in my mind, where my mind goes, my storytelling goes, I want to see this old man. I want to see him actually become like Marvel's mystical version of the Tinkerer, the Spider-Man enemy, and he's always taking these different things and combining things and making armors and weapons for people. I want to see that with this guy. I don't need to see him actually becoming the actual disciple of freaking Sidorak or something like that. I want to see him getting pissed off at Sidorak and saying, screw you, Sidorak. Say, I'm going to go and take all these mystical artifacts and all this knowledge that I learned, this what do you call it? Jury-rigged magic, basically, this black market magical techniques that I learned. I'm going to take this and I'm going to become the Tinkerer with magical stuff. What a great new villain for Doctor Strange, like a big bad, a Lex Luthor almost for Doctor Strange. Whoo! We got Baron Mordo who comes to face him directly with his hordes of minions and whatnot, and serving Dormammu and whatnot. No. I want to see this guy in here also. Like, man, to me, that would just be an amazing story. This is what I see, though. I see great opportunities that feel like they're going to be missed. And I hope that this isn't missed. I hope that we get more of that. This comic book, we can get a spin-off of this character in here. And if that happens, what's that going to mean? It means that this comic book, and the one before this, that I think the one before this is the one that actually had the first appearance of this character. Either way, it's going to make it that this comic book is suddenly more valuable. Flipper's already missed out on this one, but the speculators, and I can honestly care less if the flippers or speculators make any money off of it. That's on you. That's a business. That's your thing. But for me, story-wise, oh man, that would just be amazing. And I really hope we get to see that. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me for this review. I really did like this book a lot, despite the hiccups, despite the Deus Ex Machina thing that they just, had to, God will solve it, but we'll call it science. I didn't need to see stuff like that. But seeing the greater story behind here, I'm down with this. I also wouldn't mind seeing Quicksand teaming up with Kane, just for the next issue even, because that would be pretty cool. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. Like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.